Why, hello everyone. Well, today I'm going to be reading an OC roleplay by yours truly and Sky. Go check out her channel, it's Skyvations. It's really cool and her animations are pretty good and her editing skills are like bomb. Anyway, so this will involve Sky's OCs mostly, but you know yours truly is gonna be there, so yeah. And I'm thinking of making this a subscriber special, so tell me if that's what this should be called. But anyway, here we go. A dramatic reading of an OC roleplay. Tiny texted Sky. It was around 10 p.m. Sky, you up? She texted. Tiny, did you go to the party? Sky texted. Blah. Sky texted back. Tiny was confused, so she asked, which party? Since they had both gone to different parties that night. The one Cherry took you to. Tiny recounted the events from that night. Oh yeah, didn't have much fun though. I attacked a guy because Cherry didn't let me go hunting beforehand. Oh yeah, I forgot to mention Cherry's in this too. Go check out her channel. I'm there a lot. Sky was obviously extremely worried about something. Tiny could tell that much. You're still there? She asked. Nah, Tiny replied. Just got home. Cherry stayed, though. Finally, Sky reached her point. The place caught fire. Cherry and Otto are still there. Tiny blushed. She was glad no one can see her. Also, this doesn't make a lot of sense, because we were texting, and we don't make a lot of sense. So, just keep that in mind as we go through this very bad OC roleplay. Over the years, Tiny had developed a giant crush on Otto. She even called him Otto-senpai. She couldn't imagine him being in trouble. Tiny was, of course, worried for everyone's safety, but Cherry and Otto especially. She was the only one in Cold Night who had protection magic. Cold Night was their guild of magic. Sky was coming to her house. Tiny packed her magic bag. I can't even read my own writing. She had her wand and packed a few potions, being that she was a witch and magic rope. You never know when you might need it. Sky pulled into Tiny's driveway. She yelled hurriedly, Tiny! Tiny rushed to the door. Tiny rushed to the car door. Tiny rushed to the car and opened the passenger seat door. So what's the plan of action? Sky replied, we need the team. Tiny disagreed. I have protection magic, you know. Sky nodded, but we could use Matt for his shapeshifting and strength. Suddenly, someone threw something at Tiny, and Sky yelled, hit the deck! Tiny ducked and heard a loud beeping sound. Before you say anything, no, the car didn't blow up with Tiny and Sky in it. Then, sea foam filled the car up to Sky's head. Tiny's eyes. When they finally escaped their foamy prison, they looked behind the car to see Matt standing there ominously. Also, something you might notice is that I took a lot of creative liberty with this writing. Don't ask questions. They looked behind the car to see Matt standing there ominously. Tiny growled at him. Sky screamed, Matt, my car! Also, you might be asking, where's her driver's license? Just wait. I'm starting to see the flaws in my writing. Matt smirked. What? Happy to see me? He walked over to Tiny and kissed her hand. You all right, princess? Tiny scoffed. When have I ever been happy to see you? Gray and Sky made eye contact and said, also Gray's here. And said in unison, we're not dating. Tiny bit Matt's hand to get him off of her, and Sky started walking over to Gray. Then she fell into a hole by the forest. Everything happening is just plot progression. Don't ask questions. Gray reached his hand in to grab her, but she yelled, you're too weak to hold me. No offense. Tiny knew exactly what to do. She looked frantically through her bag until she grabbed the magic rope. I knew it'd be a good idea to bring you. Page turn. Matt was still waving his hand in pain. Was that a love bite? Tiny threw the rope in after Sky without replying. Wait. I just read the wrong line. Professional A1 quality content, okay? Only the best on Tiny Girlick's channel. In after Sky and replied without making eye contact. No. Thanks, Tiny, Sky said as she tried climbing out. I can't believe I'm saying this, but she sighed. Matt, I need your... Oh yeah, this might not make sense. She's asking for Matt's help because Sky tried to climb out. She didn't climb out. See? Matt looked towards her. With what, princess? Tiny yelled in response. Helping Sky out, you dim light bulb. Oh, she roasted him. Oh no. Okay, let's continue. Once she finally got out, Gray hugged Sky tightly. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine, Gray. Tears welled in his eyes. Everything is happening so fast. I'm so confused. Sky, I love you, he said, almost crying. Matt was skeptical. That's sweet and all, but I feel very uncomfortable reading this, especially knowing that I wrote this, and this is not my first piece of creative writing. I swear my other stuff is better. I swear. Matt was skeptical, but that's sweet and all, Gray. Gray looked to Matt. Do you truly love Sky? Oh, dang, we're getting all philosophical on me. Okay. Gray didn't answer. Matt shrugged. Never mind. He walked over to Tiny. Question mark? She looked up at him. Quality content, everybody. Matt looked away from her and what? It looks like a U, but I know it's an H, and I can't read the rest. Handed her a potion. It gives you the power to change from witch to wizard if something like this happens again. Page turn. Tiny smiled at Matt. Guess you're not as big as a jerk as... Yes, you're not as big of a jerk as we thought you were. Tiny and Matt laughed. Then Tiny said, you're still paying for Sky's car, though. Matt shrugged. That's fair. Tiny healed Sky's wounds. Sky, I need to go back to dramatic reading. I'm sorry, people. Sky had fallen asleep, so the healing process was much easier. There, Tiny sat back and then passed out from magic exhaust. Sky woke soon after, and Gray said, me and Matt can be like bears. You guys can keep warm. I forgot about that. All these lines. I'm telling you guys, the weird sounding lines, Sky came up with them. It wasn't me. Me and Matt can be like bears so you two can keep warm. She was too embarrassed to agree, so she said, I'm going for a walk. A few short moments passed and Wait, I'm reading normally. Hold up. Why are you doing this? A few short moments passed and Gray said, Tiny, wake up. Tiny still slept soundly. Tiny... I went into my sexy anime bad boy voice. Excuse me. Tiny woke abruptly and held her wand at fire. You scared me. What do you want? Gray looked worried. Why is Sky always sad? He asked. Tiny thought for a bit, still exhausted. Sky is quite the quirky and complicated individual. She has many... The really smart sounding stuff is me, by the way, because I'm smart. Yeah. That's the reason why. I didn't just look those up on Wikipedia. Many reasonings to her feelings and actions. Gray hung on to her every word. Not literally. He grew more and more worried. Does this have anything to do with Bev? Sky. This is all your fault. With her ex, Tiny thought, then answered, most likely. Her reasoning can be very jumbled as well, though. Meanwhile, Sky was deep in the forest. She was unaware that Matt was following her. Horrible memories returned to her one by one, causing her more and more pain. Sky was deep in thought when Matt said from behind her, hey. It was around this time Gray and Tiny went to look for them, mostly because Tiny was worried, but not because of Matt or anything, only because Sky is her best friend. Baka. Sky was surprised. Matt, I didn't know you were following me. Matt smirked mischievously and said, you know, Gray and Tiny were inching closer and closer into the forest. Gray isn't the only one who lobsters you. Sky leaned... Wait, what? Sky was extremely confused until Matt leaned closer to her. Just what do you think you're doing? Gray said from behind, his fists clenched. Tiny grew lightheaded and passed out, her magic exhaust taking over. No one noticed this, though. Gray had fire magic, so you can imagine how heated he was. how heated he was. Okay. Gray lifted Matt by the shirt, about to punch him, when Matt started laughing. He laughed so hard, he started crying. Matt managed to muster in between his laughs, "It's just a prank, bro." Gray threw him to the ground. "Don't do it again." Matt was still chuckling. "You got it, boss." Okay. That was me taking creative liberty. I'm so funny. Then Sky heard a familiar voice. She turned to see Adrian helping Tiny. "Hey, long time no see." Adrian brushed. Adrian brushed a little. Adrian blushed. I can't talk today. Also, it's like really late in the night, so yeah. Adrian blushed a little and said, Yeah. Tiny woke partially. "Oni-chan?" she asked. He smiled and ruffled her hair. "Yup." Sky got a message from Cherry on her phone. Fire got put out, thank gosh. Odo has been trying to reach Tiny, though. Good thing nobody ever explained why he couldn't reach Tiny. Good job. Good job, T. Good job. Sky breathed a long-needed sigh of relief. She was a little less tense now. Tiny stood and stayed silent for a minute, then immediately remembered Cherry and Oto. "What are we doing just standing around? Cherry and Oto are in." Sky interrupted her. "They're fine. The fire was put out." Tiny breathed a sigh of relief. "Oh, good." And that's the end. There's more, but I'm too lazy to write it. So when I'm done, I'll do another dramatic reading, and tell me if you want to do more dramatic readings of my creative writing. And tell me if you want me to animate this almost 12-minute video. Okay. Bye, derps.